sir.
The liberation of mutant kind has begun.
Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark. Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You unlock this door with the...
At the end.
What up, YouTube? It's episode. It's episode 164 of Two Fat Guys Pull Lists.
Mm-hmm.
And it was okay week. It was okay.
You know what I want to say about comic books right now?
What do you want to say about comic books right now?
Marvel and DC
Mm-hmm.
honestly look like second-rate children compared to what independent books are doing right now.
You know, I'd have to agree with that. Right? I'd have to agree with that. Like
even Marvel's Best, which we got one of Marvel's Best ongoing books this week, and it just it didn't touch any of the independent books I read this week at all.
I would agree with that, and I only had one independent book this week, and it was fucking awesome. Like I got done reading Marvel, and yeah, I was just kind of like, I mean, it was fine.
It was good. No, I thoroughly enjoyed a couple of the Marvel DC books this week. It's just like, I don't know, when I got to the independents, I was just like, man, these just hit different.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Well, let's get to the show's sponsor and our giveaways, and then we'll get to what we were just talking about, which is, first we got to talk about our show's sponsor, and that is Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. They have 3 locations, one in Irving, one in Hearst, and one in Fort Worth. And they are an amazing comic book shop. If you have a chance to check them out, if you're in the DFW area, make sure to hit up Collected Comics and Games. They're an amazing shop. Brent and Ron have some amazing stuff. I've said amazing a lot. They've got some spectacular stuff in their store. Everything from comics, back issues, new comics, posters, board games, card games, toys, action figures, plushies, models. I know I'm missing something. Wall art.
You didn't miss plushies though, and you never do.
Never do. Keychains, dice, D&D books, everything, statues, everything. So if you have a chance, check out Collected Comics and Games if you're ever in the DFW area, or check out their website, staycollected.com, where you can see all that fun stuff online. Just go check it out. It's amazing. Shout out to Ron and Brent and everybody else at the store. Also, we got to talk about our sub goal giveaway. Right now, we're on the road to 1,250 subscribers, and when we hit that sub goal, this is these sub goals are the sub goals of signatures. And our first signature series that we're giving away is Uncanny X-Men issue number 1, 9.8 CGC grade, signed by Jim Chung. I just don't have it down yet, but it's Jim Chung. We're giving away this thing, and if you want to look for the signature, it's like right there. It's really hard to see, but it's there. So anyway, we're giving this away when we hit 1,250 subscribers. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. It'd be much appreciated, because we want to hit these sub goals. We want to give these things away. Also, when we hit 2,000, and hopefully it won't be for too long, but when we hit it, right? Nate told me not to do it, but I'm doing it anyway.
You don't ever listen to me.
9.8 CGC grade, signed by Donnie Cates and Nick Klein. Sketch variant of Thor number 1, signed by the greatest of all time, Donnie Cates. So it's a good thing to hit that sub button, because we're giving away some cool shit. Anyway, that is going to do it for the little talkie-talkie in the front end. But anyway, let's talk about this week's comics. And what up last? You have Risen.
Uh-oh.
Very, very interested to see what you have to say about X-Men. You didn't read it, right? You're done. You're out.
I am done. And as you know what, I will add polite color commentary to what you have to say. But I've decided I'm not gonna let the mutants get to me this week. I'm not even gonna get into it. I'm not gonna think about it. I'm not. As you talk about it, I'll go, really? Okay. Yeah. Tell me about this.
Yeah, I don't believe it for 1 second. Like, you'll crack within the first thing I say. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get into it.
I won't.
Yeah, you will. Fall of X, House of X, number 2. Positives. This covers like I want this like as a poster on my wall. This is an amazing cover. It's a great cover. And I will say Polaris was amazing in this issue, which is very cool.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the Krakoan era is, and we knew this was coming. Like, we knew this is how it was going to go down. We both knew it. We just hoped that it wouldn't happen this way. And I haven't done my due diligence. I haven't watched Comic Book Herald, which I usually do before the show, just to kind of get his vibe. But the only thing I saw was on Twitter, he basically said that this is a completely and brand new comic. This is not this. It's like, and I don't think it was meant in a good way. Like, this just felt, and I, if I'm assuming correctly, this issue felt incredibly disconnected, even though there were massive strands of connectivity to the 5.5 years of Krakoan era comics that we've had. But my major criticism, before I go into criticism, positives. Yep. Action packed. A lot of stuff going on. That's about it. It's just, there was just a lot going on. If there was one word that I had that I would use to describe this issue, is rushed. Okay. We are barreling down to the conclusion, and it's very evident that Marvel editorial was like, yo, get this shit going. It's over. We need to get to the end of this era of X-Men as fast as possible because we are rebooting the X-Men. We're about to launch X-Men 97 on Disney Plus. We're about to have Deadpool in the summer. It's time. We need to move along. We need to get back to the classics. Get it done. And this issue, even though the cover is so hopeful, it just didn't. I felt like it didn't work. It felt incredibly rushed. You've got MODOK and Dr. Stasis both just like sitting in their station, page 1. And they're like, oh, what's coming at us? Oh, it's a decapitated celestial head. Ah, war. And like, it moved way too fast for me. It felt incredibly rushed. And it was like we were trying to connect things within the Krakoan era. But if you didn't get it, you didn't get it. And that's it. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. And that's what this issue felt like to me. It didn't feel like the rest of the comics that we've been reading for the past 5 years. And I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how you fix that, because it's very evident that we are trying to get out of Krakoa as fast as possible. And if I'm being honest, like, if you're going to do that, then just stick with the narrative that I think we're already going down, which is Xavier is going to wipe it out completely by just erasing it from ever existing. Because this, to me, didn't feel like the same narrative. It was like the last hurrah, and they're not, which I guess kind of makes sense. Maybe I'm rethinking it, because the rest of the team, the rest of the X-Men that exist, don't know what Xavier's up to, right? He only knows. Him and Rasputin. They're the only two that understand what's going on. Like, other than that, nobody does. So maybe this issue does make sense. You know, the rest of the team are trying to save Krakoa the only way they know how. Another random ass thing about this issue was, and I think it did happen, where like Orcus was trying to capture the tree version of Krakoa, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess they did, and so Juggernaut for some reason is sent out to release Krakoa. Like, it just felt very rushed and just out of nowhere. A lot of cool things happened, but they just didn't feel like a Krakoan era book. It felt like a random issue of X-Men. I don't know. I didn't like it. The best thing that I had to say about this issue is the cover. I think that was the best part. Last, getting tired of this full crossover with everyone against Orcus, bad writing all around. Also, Lorna stepping up randomly caught me off guard. The only time I've seen her take lead role was Wolverine in X-Men and the last X-Men team. Also, now we mentioned Sentinel City, terrible. Yeah, I was like, wait, what is this all going on? Like, what? Why? What? Oh, have you heard of Sentinel City? Like, that's the other thing. There's this uprising within Orcus, which I guess kind of makes sense, but it's like, can we expand on this? So the doctor, remember the doctor whose husband got blown away in like the first, in Hickman's run, and he ends up becoming Nimrod? So she finally has a spine now, and she's realizing that the Sentinels and Nimrod, or Nimrod? Is that right? That sounds wrong to me. Yeah. They're obviously playing for the Phalanx. You know, they're playing for AI. They're playing for robots. They're not on the same team as humans, right? So suddenly she has this conscience, and she's the one that ends up saving Cyclops. So Cyclops looks like he's about to get... Yep, so it looks like... See, I told you. I said
I would add color commentary.
No, but you were going to be positive. Anyway, he's about to get sliced and diced by the Omega Sentinel, and she shows up and like, oh, I've got this EMP device that'll only take her out for 15 seconds. We got to go. And he's like, why'd you change your heart? It's like, because my husband's not real. And have you ever heard of Sentinel City? Yeah, and you're like, what? And then the issue ends. It just felt so rushed. So, you know, Karen Gillan's does feel like we're kind of like being responsible in how we're ending. And the fact that I said that, I'm sure next week's issue will feel exactly like this issue. And it'll just feel rushed. So... I don't know. And, you know, Stefan says Juggernaut with the gun felt unnecessary. Yeah, he had a fucking gun, too. Like, he stole a gun. I don't know. It just felt weird. This was supposed to be mutants versus humans, mutants stepping into the evolution versus humans, being afraid and siding with the machines. All this seems like misdirection when the war was better. Yeah, I mean, it's just... Or it seemed better. I don't know. Like... At this point, again, I'm starting to look at all of the fall and right. Like, there's this book that's about to come out called X-Men Forever that's got Jean Grey literally turning into the Phoenix, and I'm like, yo, I want to read that. Like, I want to read that. But then,
you do?
I mean, of course I do. But
you okay? I can name you 50 issues, and you can read that story.
I understand that. I understand that. Like, that's clearly the key to them resetting to getting to whatever we're gonna do within the summer. But I'm starting to look at all these other X-Men books like I do X-Force. I'm just trying to fill up, you know, the 2 or 3 short boxes I have of the Krakoa era up, and then I'm done. You know, and I don't like that. It makes me feel like I've wasted my time, and I hate that feeling. And I think it's because it speaks to how we started, right? And I know you're gonna roll your eyes at this, but like, it just makes me feel, you know, the grass is always greener, right? And I just feel like we knew what we had, even though me and you didn't experience it issue by issue. But when we read Hickman's X-Men, we were just like, right? And so if there's one person that I'm fucking upset with, it's Hickman. I am incredibly disappointed that he couldn't just finish it the way he should have finished it. I'm I'm pissed that he couldn't just figure
Thanks,
out
Joe.
Oh, what up, Joe? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Glad to have you back.
Well, he's always been here. He's just never been.
No, he wasn't here for a couple of days. He wasn't.
Oh,
here
but now he's a member now.
Yes, but he literally came to the chat. I'm back.
Oh, I saw that.
Welcome back.
But then he just said member now.
Will you please continue on about your dumbass mutant books that I don't ever want to fucking hear about?
There it is again.
Goddamn Hickman. I don't. God,
I know, and I'm just frustrated because, like, I mean, Nate, come on, don't do
I'm
that.
not doing anything. No.
Okay.
It's been doing.
It's
this
your
all
camera.
time,
Okay.
so.
All right. Just making sure. It's just frustrating. Like, I wish he had played ball with the other writers, and then I think this would be more cohesive. It would feel better. So that's me. That's all I gotta say. Sorry.
Oh, God, Trent, please do not put that kind of voodoo out into the world.
Well, now I gotta read it. First one laid last, and then I'll read that. Children of the Vault wasted. Phoenix barely used. Secondary evolution never hinted on. No Sentinels at all. The evolution beyond Nimrod. Yep. Do you think the Ultimate Universe will go the same way Hoxpox went? A bunch of great ideas and stories that never get fully realized or butchered by other writers and other ideas. Yes.
Just nothing else. Just yes.
Well, no, and I agree though. I mean, if you don't play within his sandbox, he will ruin it. Like you've said it before. He throws a tantrum. No, I'm gonna play with my ball here.
Yeah, but we've seen what can happen when he is able to do that. When we saw his Avengers, New Avengers, and Secret Wars.
Sure. No,
Fantastic
you're right.
Four.
But what are the odds?
I'd like to believe that he's learned from his mistake.
What are the odds, Dave?
Baby Goo Goo.
No. Be realistic. Be as raw as life really is. What's the reality that could actually happen?
The reality is that in 2 years from now, we will be doing the exact same. We will probably be saying the same words verbatim, except instead of X-Men, we will be saying Spider-Man.
I agree. And so we have to start thinking about. Well, we don't have to, but I just think like. I pray that Hickman has learned his lesson, but he doesn't have to give a shit. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. And I guess that's the ebbs and flows of being a fan of comic books is you're at the whim of your writers and they can do whatever the fuck they want and for good or bad. And I just am incredibly depressed because I felt like we were doing something really cool. And obviously there are things that we'll never know of why this was done this way and other things weren't done another way, you know? But the perception to me is Hickman didn't want to play as long as the other writers wanted to do. And then as, you know, the writers got their way and they kept on playing. And then Disney was like, hey, wrap it up.
No, don't do all that.
Yes, I do. I'm telling you, dude. Like, and you say don't do all that, but I'm telling you.
Because it's a waste of your breath because you can't tell me anything. You will never know. You will never know. You will never be able to prove it. All you do is sound like a conspiracy theorist and the flat earth out there. You'll never know. You'll never be able to prove it. And we were literally wasting time talking.
February 18th. Nate, what's going on in Captain Marvel right now? With a writer that we absolutely adore.
It has not. I've seen the movies now. It had nothing to do with that. It was literally the smallest fragmentation.
But it was there.
No.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
Okay. Gods and Spider-Man prove Hickman is the man to world build and make great stories. I agree. I just don't want him to get. I wouldn't say cold feet. I just don't want him to throw a fit when he can't do exactly what he wants to do. I mean, how many times have you done something that you didn't want to do, but you fucking did it anyway? Come on, play ball.
Yes. Here's what we shouldn't keep doing, though. We shouldn't keep putting down other people's good work because of Hickman's failures and the overall failure of the Hoxpox generation. Because
there were bright spots.
The lesbian D&D books
that
Teenie Howard wrote were amazing.
Yes.
It did not cause the downfall of anything that was happening here. And the I don't know, what's his name? Zeb Wells' Hellions. Like,
Yeah.
there are amazing gems. That
Look,
come out, so.
okay, then let me rephrase. Then I'm not upset. No, I don't think I said this. I was not upset with the other writers doing what they wanted to do. What I'm frustrated with is this ending that feels like it's in a death spiral, and we're trying to get to the bottom as fast as we can. And to me, that is a complete disservice to everybody's works, the good and the bad, the Hickman and the other writers. To me, this ending feels incredibly forced, and I don't blame. I guess you have to, but I personally don't blame Gary Jerry. I am not going to blame Karen Gillan. They are being told, wrap this shit up, because in the summer we're relaunching 50 titles of X-Men. It's happening, guys. Sorry, you know what I mean?
I blame Tom Brevoort if I blame anybody.
Which is that? Who is that?
The new editor, the guy and
he's not. He's just shooting by the hip.
They put him on the book, and he's saying, "All right, we're cutting everything, we're scrapping, we're starting." And
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's. I'm not articulating it as well as I should. It's just, it feels like editorial is just saying, "Get us the fuck out of here. It's too complicated. Nobody can follow it. Let's go back to basics." And I'm not lying to, I wouldn't want to lie to you. Like, there is a part of me that is super jazzed to kind of get a relaunch that's going to be more like is being hinted to being this kind of classic X-Men, which again, outside of me being 8 or 9, I've never really experienced that in comics, because whenever I bought comics when I was a kid, pick those. Like, I never read them. I just looked at them. I was like, this is cool. This matches the toys I have. And like you're not obviously excited for X-Men 97. You never watched the cartoon. You fucking hate Cyclops, and he is going to be the centerfold of that cartoon. But when I saw that trailer, I was just like, I got fucking giddy, because it just reminded me of waking up on Saturday mornings, turning on Fox and watching X-Men. Like, it just, in Spider-Man and all that stuff. So like, yeah, there's a part of me that's kind of jazzed that there could be a parallel to the classic 90s X-Men. And yes, has it been done before? Obviously it has. But there's another part of me that's just incredibly frustrated with what we're doing to something that was really fun. And I think it's doing a disservice to those writers that you mentioned, to all the work that we had fun with, that we read and really enjoyed. It's just kind of throwing it down the toilet. And maybe that's what comics is. And now on our third, almost fourth year doing this, both of me and you are coming to that realization. And I guess what I'm, coming to realize right now as I'm speaking is that I have to try as hard as I can to not be that asshole that's on YouTube that just bitches and moans about comic books. We're here to uplift. So I'm going to get off my high horse and say there were some positives here. It was fun, but it just feels rushed. So there's that. There's a lot in chat in there.
Joe, as much as I'd like to make you feel good by telling you that, I actually would rather watch Bluey with my daughter than watch that X-Men.
Yo, Bluey's a good show, though. Bluey's a good show.
Well, you're right, because Bluey is a very good show. But
yeah, you gotta pick it up for Joe.
I have no desire to watch the X-Men series. I couldn't care less.
Wait, but I mean, okay, fine. That's fine.
The Gambit powering up Wolverine's claws were cool for the 3 seconds I saw the clip, and then I just forgot it forever. I don't care. Like, I'm sorry. There's a million things in the world to consume. I'll never be able to consume them all. That's one I'm not putting any effort into. These last 3 years have turned me off to mutants so much that I just am not very interested. I also don't like the shitty 90s cartoon style. I never watched it as a kid.
You never watched it. Yeah, like, it's just hard to,
it's not nostalgic. It looks shitty. You're right. Cyclops is one of the main characters. He can go fuck himself. Like, there's just no draw for me personally. So I won't be watching.
Peppa Pig is an asshole. I agree with you.
Well, yeah.
All right, let's get off this high horse. Let's just wait. Hold on.
sorry.
7. Reveal the brood as a secret weapon was a wasted on. Yeah, no, we knew that was like, it's just, there was no pop. There was nothing. It was a predictable issue outside of, I guess, the Sentinel Island thing or Sentinel City. But even then, it's like, wait, what are we doing? So let's get out of here. Let's move. All right. Vengeance of Moon Knight issue number 2. Wait, did Nate finish New Avengers and Avengers by Hickman or Fantastic Four?
Yeah, I've read all of that now. I've finished and read all of that.
He's up to date.
I've got both omnibus of Fantastic Four, then all 5 complete collections. So.
Trent, I also agree. He needs to stay on the project and not leave halfway through the plan. I agree. 99. Too many titles to follow. It's like an X-Men event, but one that had too many subsets, and tie-ins. Lost interest a long time ago. No, that's where Nate is for sure.
With you.
Yep. All right, Moon Knight. I am still digging the shit out of this book. Like, and we're obviously in issue 2, but it's a continuation, obviously, of Moon Knight. But man, I love this team. I love the hell out of the Midnight Manor team. I just think it's a solid crew, and if the one thing I want more is Tigra. Like, I think she's a badass. She's so fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
And I loved the character dissection and character development in the book. I thought it was great. And then this cover is amazing. That being said, just the last thing I'm going to say is, do we believe what we're being told, which is this Moon Knight that we're seeing is not Mark resurrected? It is somebody else.
I do believe it is somebody else.
Okay.
So yeah, I agree with all that. Tigra being the center of the comic, we can even scrap the Moon Knight and just call it Tigra, and I'm good.
Tigra, yep, I've been right there with you.
Or cut that out and call it Midnight Mission. But I think the pacing of this issue is really great. Like, obviously the art is just some of the best that Marvel is doing right now. Like, it's really, really good. We are 2 issues in, and I am very over the mystery of who and what's
Disciple?
going on. I am done with it. This issue turned me off of it so bad. I think the Midnight Mission rejecting him is a very clear cut. This is not Mark.
Okay.
And I am sure, I have faith that Jed McKay can pull it off, and it's going to make sense, and it's going to be cool. For some reason, I'm getting frustrated by it.
Did it feel gimmicky?
I don't care. A little bit.
Okay.
It feels like almost like, he died, and we need at least one arc with him not there, or with it being conspicuous or weird. And then, after the first arc, then we can bring him back. I will say I will be radically disappointed if we get all the way into May and we're starting to do Blood Hunt and stuff, and we still don't know who the fuck it is. I will be quite disappointed if that's the case. I don't know. I'm not trying to be sour grapes about it, because I love this stuff. But what made me think of that and why I'm so worried is we got a glimpse ahead in solicitations. They skipped May and released some June solicitations for all the ones that tie into Blood Hunt. Which, by the way, look at the fucking covers for the next 4 issues of Moon Knight. Oh my god. I thought it was Federici at first. They're so good. But the issue 5, which is still the first arc, shows Moon Knight holding Tigra hostage, and I'm over it already. I don't want that. That was not what I was looking for the story, and so I say all this. I gave this issue a 4 out of 5 stars. I still loved it, but this very specific part of the book, I'm super over.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but dude, this 1 in 25 incentive on issue 4 in April slaps. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm worried about Blood Hunt, if I'm being honest with you. And when you texted me, and I was watching one of Robbie's videos, he was talking about the future, new things coming around the corner. And it was before you had texted me, and it was already talking about how many tie-ins we were getting for Blood Hunt, and I'm just kind of I was stoked about it, and I'm not a big vampire in my my money's on Khonshu. Ooh, Trent, that's
interesting.
I
could kind of see that from this issue, though. I could kind of see that.
I just kind of feel Joe, and I'm not trying to just to say what you're saying isn't valid, but I feel it's too easy that it's Zodiac. If it's Khonshu, possessing Mark's body, then we have some play here. I like that, Trent. I like that. I don't know. I don't know. But I am worried about Blood Hunt because there are over 50 tie-ins, right? You said 50 tie-ins?
Yes. So before we do Blood Hunt, I want to address a few comments. First, Stefan says, Cantwell's Iron Man made me a fan of Hellcat. This one of Moon Knight's making me Tigra.
100.
Possibly agree more. Like, some of my favorite characters right now are Hellcat and Tigra, and every time I see them, I'm just like, oh, just give me that. Which is strange.
I want a Hellcat She-Hulk Tigra team up.
Yes, I would love that.
Right.
Garzi says, did I see a Midnight Suns comic announced for the Blood Hunt event? Yes, you did. It is not Moon Knight and Ghost Rider. It is actually, I pulled it up. The listed characters are Blade and 2 Ghost Riders, both Johnny Blaze and Danny. So interesting. And I believe this is one of the ones that is not a single issue. It's supposed to be a series. So yeah. Also about Blood Hunt. Yes. There looks like there's going to be Empire levels of bloat here. However, I'm excited about a lot of these, and I probably won't get into them all.
Where are you seeing? Where can you see them all?
If you go to, say, you go to Blood Hunt, issue number 1, there will be a banner on there that says Blood Hunt Event. And you can click on that, and it will list everything that's been there so far. So, for instance, Dracula Blood Hunt number 1, I believe, is a one-shot, but it's being written by Danny Lore, whose work I really enjoy, and it's about Blade's daughter. But there's also a ton of bloat. Who is asking for a Union Jack?
Yeah, no.
Union Jack the Ripper, Blood Hunt number 1. No one's asking for that story.
If I'm looking at it right now, obviously all the books that are within it, core issues, Moon Knight, Amazing Spider-Man, no. Avengers, yes. Blood Hunters, no. Doctor Strange, no. Dracula, maybe, but I'm kind of on a no. Strange Academy, hell no. Venom,
hell no.
Hell no, because I don't know who the team is, and it's not Scotty Young and what's his name, and so whatever. What was the main artist? I can't do it.
See, I am on it because of who it is. It's Daniel Jose Alder, who has done a ton of the new Star Wars work. And all of his stuff I've thoroughly enjoyed.
I want Scotty Young back on the book. I'm sorry. Venom, no. Amazing Spider-Man, no. Union Jack, no. Black Panther, maybe, because I really love the cover. Like, I think the cover looks amazing.
But also, here's what they're doing. So, okay, you keep going, and then I'll go.
Midnight Suns, a potential. Potential. Wolverine, no. Fantastic Four, I'm sorry, no. And Miles Morales, Spider-Man, no, because I'm not reading. I'm just not doing it. Like, I'm not reading those. And so, like, it makes me feel like it's Empire all over again. Like, we got sucked into Empire hardcore.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, yes. And I think I think overall, this might be bad, not because of what it is, but because it is turning a lot of people off. Like, Darcy says, I read over 45 comics in Blood Hunt event. Sorry, turning off. I think we're at a total of 51 reported right now. Yeah, Civil War had like 100 tie-ins, but that was very different too. A lot of them were like entire arcs of ongoing books were included. But yes, Disciple, we did say 50 tie-ins. I think there are 9 limited series that are 3 to 4 issues. There are like 6 or 7 single issue tie-ins, and then a few books. All of Jed McKay's ongoing books, Doctor Strange, Avengers, and Moon Knight, all tie in as well. However, as I'm looking through this stuff, this is exactly what I want them to do with a big event like this if they're going to do all of these tie-ins. So far, the only ongoing tie-ins besides Spider-Man, who gives a fuck about that book, there are only the Jed McKay books. No one else is getting fucked over by this event. Okay. And you see how many there are. Amazing Spider-Man has a Blood Hunt issue, Union Jack, Black Panther, Wolverine. No one's getting interrupted hardly at all.
Yet.
I think that's very good. I'm also looking at the creators involved here, and there's a lot of good talent that I don't see often getting chances to tell good stories.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that because that's how I discovered Philip Kennedy Johnson. He was literally doing the Captain America tie-in for Empire. And I never would have read that if that came out now. But because I was excited, new into comics, it was Empire, I read it, and I found one of my favorite writers of all time. And so, of course, I'm not going to read all of these. But if there's a creator on there that seems interesting, or a story that's, I think that's a good way to do it. It's instead of just interrupting everyone, just telling everyone, pump the brakes for 5 months. We're doing 5-issue arcs of Blood Hunt.
And I was about to say, like, the parallels from what we were bitching about last summer and what we're doing here, right? Like, what were we complaining about in the summer last summer? What the fuck is DC doing? What what
was Night Terrors, right?
Yeah, dude. And so now we're over here with Marvel doing the same thing, and I have to say, like, but if we're not interrupting, if we're not saying, hey, stop production on everything so we can do Blood Hunt, then I guess I'm okay with it, right?
Yeah.
Because the one thing that was a huge momentum killer, which I still feel like DC Comics is still trying to recover from, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later. Joe asks with the super chat, which style of Blood Hunt y'all buying?
Oh, I'm buying the big boy one, of course. Yeah,
where is it? So is that the core issue?
The red band edition.
Oh, I'm getting both.
I'm not getting both. I can't do.
I'm getting
both.
I'm getting both.
Yeah,
but
definitely getting the red band edition. I mean, listen, like anytime we're doing comics and I'm going like, hey, this is like an adult version. Like I want that.
Whoa.
Okay.
The main artist for Blood Hunt #1, I didn't realize was Pepe Larraz. I thought he was just doing the covers. He's the fucking interior.
Oh, yeah. PP is the artist.
I just PP'd now. Like,
yeah.
like,
oh, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't realize you didn't realize that.
I did not know that. No, what's
He's
up?
supposed to be the interior artist for all 5 issues, all 5 core issues.
Oh my god, I'm just. Fine, I'll buy them all. Jesus, god dang.
Trent said Strange Academy ended for me once I heard Sky was once,
well, I mean, it just hasn't been any, like they've done little one shots here and there, and it does not feel like the same book. So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't really want to read it, but I don't know, maybe you can convince me otherwise. But
such a lost thing, because like that book could have been great. Hey Rick, I didn't see your comment. Hey, what's up?
Is Patty here yet? No, Patty's not here yet, is he?
Patty's off building cars, man, and
well,
rich.
He told me something. He commented on the picture of John wearing his Two Fat Guys shirt. When he got his package of stuff that he bought, like some stickers and a shirt, his stickers were ripped up because of customs. Yeah, dude. Like we got to figure out how to get him some stickers without them ripping them. We got to like pack them in a, I don't know. But I'm pissed about that. Anyway, sorry, that was random. Let's see
also
here.
Random Blood Hunt tangent in our Moon Knight. Sorry about that.
Yes. Well, I mean,
we should have talked about it anyway.
Yeah, of course. It is what it is. All right. Well, anyway, Moon Knight was great. Little gimmicky, but like you said, I think you hit the nail on the head though. Like I think in May we're still not going to know who this dude is, but I do like the prospect of Khonshu using the undead body of Mark to that. I mean, kind of look at this cover, right? Like,
that's pretty cool.
This cover is kind of foreboding too. Like we're kind of foreshadowing that it might be happening. So maybe the answer is right in front of us.
The whole time.
I'm a sucker for blood for some. Wait, I'm a sucker. Anyway, let's move on to DC. I read that horribly, but I get what you're saying. Joe, I think it's cool that Marvel is leaning more violent style here lately. New Punisher series will be the Max Edition, means hardcore. Trent, does Red Band style have different interiors, or is it just different covers? No, like
it
blood,
will be
gory.
It does. It's not just more gory. It has extra page. It has more pages.
Director's cut.
Yeah, so it's going to be more violent. I imagine a lot of the. I imagine Pepe did like a double layer thing on some panels where like they could just remove a layer of gore. But there are, I think they are announced 5 pages that are not in the original at all, like 5 whole pages. That's why one of the reasons why it's more expensive.
Yeah.
And they're not just like gore pages; they're like story pages too. I think so. I think it'll be interesting that you're not getting.
I like it. That's kind of why I'm buying both, because I kind of want to see like the comparison too. And now that it's PP, like it doesn't like it's a foregone conclusion.
PP tickles the PP.
Yeah, Batman issue number 153 from Chip Zdarsky. The first issue of this 42, I was kind of like, I felt kind of floaty, kind of felt like I was missing something. And now that we understand what we're doing, and we get into this issue was much more. I enjoyed it a lot more, knowing what I knew, obviously, and that's how comic books work, right? Like that's how reading works. But I enjoyed this issue much more, even though I was incredibly freaked out and had very itchy skin anytime we jumped to that other artist.
The Sorrentino's work. Yes.
Oh my God. I just felt
perfection.
Like, like I read this book before I went to bed and I fucking had nightmares. Like Joker looks creepy as shit. And it just, at a glance, and I'm sure I'm going to get roasted for this, but at a glance, right? Batman and Joker, that's such an old character. Like they're just an old concepts, right? But fuck, this just made me like the Batman. You know what I mean? Like Joker is just this menacing, and it has everything to do with the way it's written, but it also has everything to do with those illustrations. Like it just, like that is terrifying. And I loved it. I will say, for someone who is so incredibly smart and intellectually on point, this teacher who didn't see the Joker killing him after being taught the ways of Batman, that felt kind of stupid. Like, come on, bro.
Okay, hold on.
I could change him. No, come on.
I understand where that comes from. And I will even say what I'm about to tell you could be considered a fault. But that totally makes sense for that character, who is a character that is from Chip Zdarsky's
right.
90s.
I know.
And you that was I totally expected all that to happen. That made perfect sense for that character. That is his flaw. That is the problem with him. It's why Bruce left. And Bruce said, no, actually fuck you, after training with him. Disciple, yeah, it's Sorrentino. So these Joker parts, this futuristic Joker, by the way, Joker, this endgame style Joker takes over Gotham City with the virus bullshit, is probably one of the most overplayed things we've done with Joker. And yet,
it's still
this is
scary.
Unquestionably the greatest version of it.
Yeah.
Having, I don't know if it's Andre or Andrea, but having Sorrentino do this art, who is the guy that did Gideon Falls with Jeff Lemire, who is currently doing the Bone Mythos stuff.
Right.
That dude's art is just fucking scary and creepy and weird. And that is the scariest Joker I've ever seen. Disciple said, Joker arising out of the water like Jesus was creepy and awesome as fuck. And I agree. Like I don't know. It's powerful stuff to me. But with all that being said, that's the future stuff, right? But this stuff, I thoroughly enjoy that Chip is saying, hey, listen, we've been doing this weird Joker is god tier shit for a while. Oh, he's like this demon. He's unkillable. Jeff Johns even did the 3 Jokers thing where actually he's 3 different Jokers. It's not one.
Right.
And then literally Chip said, actually, no, we're going to solidify that's 100% not continuity. The 3 versions of Joker are all identities within one person. And I think that makes him more human, right? Like I think the character does better when he feels like he's not this demonic god soul unkillable thing.
Yeah.
What was my other point?
Notes.
Gordon. I love the little Gordon story. I'm a sucker for a Gordon story. Straight up.
Right.
Anytime Gordon's like fighting the inner corruption stuff, like sign me up for that. And I don't even know how it's necessarily going to tie, because right now it seems inessential to what the story is.
It'll tie in,
but I'm sure
that's chippy. Yeah. Overall, I thought it was a solid issue. I really liked it.
This is the highest ranking Chip issue I've done.
Okay.
A long time.
I don't remember who the artist is, but when whoever is drawing / painting the Joker future parts of Batman right now is God tier. Joker rise from out of the water like Jesus was creepy and awesome. Yeah, that I was just like, but I loved it. It was great. And the thing is I skimmed the book before reading it. I just kind of like to do that. And like, whenever, I'm sure you get this when you read horror novels, Nate, but like when you are reading a book and like that something shitty is about to happen on the other side of that page, and like this is stupid. Like I'm just like my fingers kind of like, I don't want to touch this page because I know like on the other side of this page it's really fucking creepy and like maybe my finger will get stabbed. Like that's how I felt when I was reading it. So anyway, it was good.
Pretty cool out of the Batman book.
All right, halftime question from Joe. He says another canceled Black Panther series. Why you think Black Panther is having trouble getting long runs when his reputation is huge? Then he also says Taylor Swift should appear in Black Panther so people will buy it.
Right. I don't know that I can really comment on this because I haven't been reading an ongoing Black Panther ever. I don't think I have. So
I didn't even know it got canceled.
Yeah, it's ending at like issue 10 or 12. So I'm trying to look back. So we had Series 8, which was written by John Ridley. John Ridley's work that I've read in the past is it can be hit or miss.
Okay.
But he got 15 issues, and then they were like, no, thank you. However, it's Eve Ewing writing this one, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
She's good. She's really good. And she's getting canceled at 12 issues. Is that what it looks like? Or is it 10? I guess it's just 10. Yeah,
I think it's 10.
Yeah, 10. That seems not good to me.
No.
I will tell you everything that I've heard about this Black Panther run, and I know I have a biased Twitter feed. Like I'm not gonna sit there and say
Right.
But everything I've seen from this book is that it is written well, that it has great representation, and that it is politically charged. That's why it's canceled. Because there are enough neckbeard white fuckers out there that are going, not politics in my comic books, no way. And that's probably why it's getting canceled. It's being written by a black woman. It is dealing with racial issues. It has a transgender character in it.
Checks all the boxes.
I don't know that there's like really too much of a reason why this isn't canceled, because it's not selling as well as they want to, and it's, I don't know. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, the John Ridley one, I can't tell you. I don't know. But before that, we had who was it? Was it Victor LaValle? No, it wasn't Victor.
I don't remember.
Ta-Nehisi Coates. He did.
That's right.
He did like a 6-year run, or like a 5-year run. So.
And then he jumped on to Captain America,
recently.
right? Did
Well,
he jump on to Captain America
simultaneously?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
I believe.
All right. Well,
but I don't know.
Batman was good.
Taylor Swift would obviously help.
Dude, whatever she touches is freaking gold, dude. Did you see the TikTok that I made?
No, actually, I didn't.
Oh, it's gonna make you very like you're just gonna get mad.
Yeah, he went on a 5-year run. 5 years.
Next up, we got Batman and Robin issue number 6. I still look. I get it. You texted me, I don't like the way Bruce is being portrayed in this book. I agree with that. I think he's completely out of character. If we put that aside, this is just Robin 2.0. Love Damian. Love what he's doing here. But I cannot tell you how fucking excited I am for Flatline to be in the next issue. And when she showed up in this book at the very last page of this book, I was just like, yes, Flatline. And I hope she's here for a while. If she's not here, hey, you're gonna look it up and she's not gonna be, but like I just hope she's here for a minute. Like she needs to be. I think Flatline needs to be the new like secondary character that's following Damian for a while. I just think it just has to happen. She's a cool character. I like that Damian's kind of he's vulnerable, right? He's in this spot that he's not normally in. That's a part of, like, if there's a foreign part of a character that I think needs to be developed, that's Damian not being able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Just realize how to compartmentalize crime fighting and potential relationship, you know, and like it's evident in like the artwork that he's making comic books and stuff like that, but like I just like that wrinkle of throwing in potentially a love interest. Like that's slice of life that I think this book is kicking ass at. The part of slice of life that this book is not working is Bruce not being Bruce. Like oh, he's a dad. Like that's just I don't know.
Yeah.
The way he's going about it just doesn't make sense.
The greatest thing that could happen. So this book is a Robin centered book, right, and Batman is his foil. Like he is the one there. Batman is there to help push on the story and help move Robin's character. The best thing that could happen to this book is Batman is dropped. It is called Robin Volume 2, and Flatline is his foil, not Batman.
I agree.
Not only because is that more interesting, but Joshua Williamson, who did an okay job with his Batman run, I'm pretty sure has had a head injury and doesn't remember who Batman is as a character at all.
It doesn't feel
because
like
there's a difference between taking a little bit of creative liberties to try to push the story you're trying to tell,
right,
and then there's also just mischaracterization to the core. And I'm actually one that is extremely critical of people crying about mischaracterization, especially about legacy characters that have been around for 100 years. There are all versions of Batman that have ever existed. They just are. Like this Batman has been written before too. But I would say that this version of Batman doesn't click with the current version that we are doing over other titles, and it is also extremely disinteresting and off-putting. But if you remove Batman and you add in Flatline, this book could be great.
Well,
especially
but we all know
getting Simone DeMeo back on the art.
We all know why Batman is involved. We all know why he's on the title. Like DC can't let go. You, Joe. So, what's your thoughts on Fantastic Four's casting, and will it take place in the 60s? Yeah, I'm gonna let you go first.
It absolutely will not take place in the 60s. It was literally the tiniest, silliest little throwaway nod. Super silly, super tiny. Absolutely will not be in the 60s.
All right.
And I hate complaining about MCU stuff. So I will just say the casting doesn't make me go, fuck yeah. I don't want to complain.
What do you not like about it?
I don't see it. I don't see it in any characters. I fucking love Pedro Pascal. I think
you don't see him as in Fantastic Four.
I don't see him as Fantastic Four.
Mr. Fantastic.
As Mr. Fantastic, not even like just because I think just because I view Reed as scummy, and I don't want Pedro to be scummy. I think that's what it is. I don't even think he's not capable of doing it, but like a real Reed is the guy who pretends like he's a family man, but always sacrifices his family for his knowledge. And I don't want Pedro to be that. So and maybe they won't make him that character and it'll be fine. And that's why I'm not super. I don't even remember the woman's name that has been cast as Sue. I hope she's a great actress. I don't know anything about her. Her face doesn't look like Sue's face, but I also don't care that much. The dude that's playing the Thing, I've only know him from The Bear, and that's all I know about him. So if you just tell me based on that, I don't see it at all, because the dude in The Bear is like a piece of shit and very annoying, and that's not how I envision Ben Grimm.
Well,
and who the hell was the guy playing Human Torch?
He's from Stranger Things. He was the guy that
was.
Oh,
okay. No, I do like that.
Yeah, he was the guitar player guy.
Yeah. No, I do like that. And again, I understand that these actors are not the characters they portray. Like, I clearly understand. But
do you?
Yes.
Okay.
But
it doesn't sound like you do, though.
I do, but like what I'm saying is the reason why I'm telling you my opinion because I was asked, but I actually don't care that much.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it'll work out great. I love the Fantastic Four. I'm just excited that I get to see a new version of in a movie.
Here's
why the dialogue it's just like that.
Here's why I think the casting is on point, because I feel very similar to you. I feel when Ben Affleck was casted as Batman, I never saw him as Batman. I always saw him as Ben Affleck as Batman. And his mannerisms, the way it just didn't like, and I don't mind. I'm not one of these like I hate everything Ben Affleck does. I think he's a great actor, but I just never saw
very
him.
Generous.
I know. I've never seen him as. I just have never seen him as Bruce. Like he just doesn't fit Bruce. Like, it just doesn't work in my mind. And like I remember, like Evan, my best friend, was just like, "Oh, Ben Affleck is Batman." Yes, I'm like, dude, you're the biggest Batman fan ever, and you're like, I don't understand why you're saying that. And I have a little bit of the same sense with Pedro Pascal. I just don't see him as Mr. Fantastic. Putting that aside, what we've gone through with the Fantastic Four, with the castings that we've gotten. Yo, what up, John? I will get to that. I'm going to shout that out. But I just want to finish this thought. Marvel, and I could be wrong on this, but I feel like MCU Marvel has seen and how many times the Fantastic Four has been casted, right? Mm-hmm. And how the characters have been portrayed. And this, at this moment, outside of Deadpool, which Deadpool I feel like is going to save everything, the Fantastic Four, like this has to be a fucking smash for Marvel right now. And I'm not saying that as a criticism to what's happened prior to, because I've liked a lot of projects that came out of whatever this last phase was. I really did. Mm-hmm. But so many people love Fantastic Four. I have to believe that they said, no, Pedro Pascal is the guy. We know we can do it. We've shot him this stuff. It's great. And I feel like it's the same thing with the rest of the casting. I've never heard of the other two actors. I've never seen the Bear. I don't know the Sue casting, but I just have
Vanessa Kirby.
I have so much faith. I have so much faith in MCU stuff because, again, I've only seen a handful of things from the MCU that I just absolutely didn't like. When it comes to Disney casting, I think it's been on point. So I trust it, even though I'm right there with you, Nate. Like, I see Pedro Pascal and I just don't see Mr. Fantastic. But if there's anybody that has the fucking chops, it's Pedro Pascal. I'm seeing him in so many things, and I'm like, I think he's gonna be able to do it. You know, I think he will.
Joe, I will have to very strongly disagree, and only one thing. Joe said, I don't think Fantastic Four has ever had bad casting. It's just been the writing. Miles Teller as Reed Richards is, in my opinion, top 20 worst castings in the history.
Which one was that?
Human television. That was the one with Kate Mara, Michael B. Jordan, and
oh yeah. Well, I didn't even see that.
They did Doom. Doom was the bad guy.
Yeah. Let me get to John here. John, hey guys, I'm in Chicago visiting my family, but wanted to check in. Leave a like. I'll be there next week. Take care, John. Appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat, and hopefully you're wearing your shirt. Hopefully you're wearing your shirt. I don't know. I don't think. Yeah. I don't. Even the Fantastic Four, the first ones from Fox, like I didn't like the casting on those either. Like,
really?
I didn't. I didn't like those movies. I thought those movies were trash.
Oh no! I didn't like the movies, but I liked. I mean, that was the one with Chris Evans as Human Torch, right?
That's probably the only thing that worked. Yeah, I agree.
How does Chris Evans correctly pull off Human Torch and Captain America? That's
Deadpool.
That's pretty good on his part.
Deadpool's gonna correct that. I see what you're saying.
I
see what you're saying.
As an actor, that's very good that he was able to do both. I think Jessica Alba was a very good casting for Sue Storm too.
See, that's another one of those. That's another one of those. I only see Jessica Alba. I don't see Sue Storm. Like it's just that has nothing against her. I just don't see.
I get
her.
That. No, I get that, especially at that time.
Yeah.
I get
like
that.
it was a very like MTV like cast.
It was.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
it just felt like it.
It was, but
maybe that's why Pedro's being casted, because like he's in The Mandalorian, he's in all these other things, like, you know, he's the hot guy, so maybe that's why he's getting casted. But I have faith that dude's got fucking chops. That guy is a beast mode, dude. Anyway, we're talking about DC. Let's move on. Green Lantern. This is a great show. Green Lantern issue number 8, Countdown to Armageddon. My goodness, was I surprised at this issue. I don't know how you felt about it, Nate, but I know you've got your, and I totally understand your, I don't want to say hatred, but just lack of, or dislike for Hal. I get that. Put that aside. This whole League of Planets core being able to switch between spectrums of light and emotions has got me fucking thrilled. Like when I was reading this issue, I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. Like, okay, we got this character who, was in the Blue Lantern Corps and the battery blew up. Okay, that was the first like, oh shit, like this isn't just happening with the Lanterns. It's not just happening with Sinestro Corps. It's happening with other corps. Okay, you got me intrigued, but still kind of bored. And then these League of Planets or whatever the fuck it's called show up. The Lanterns with the Greek versions of the of the uniform.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. And they start fighting and they start switching colors. They go blue to yellow. I'm like, yo, this is fucking cool. Like I got excited. I was a little excited. Like, loved Batman. And beginning of this issue was kind of like, I'm a little waning. And then that happened. And I got very excited. This to me, and I could be wrong, but to me, there is a hint of we have something much bigger going on here that might potentially be the next DC event, which might be a la Black Lanterns, the Death Corps, or it might be the Sinestro War again. I don't know. But I liked those events, and I've read those before. Like, I remember reading those in college. So that's actually got me hyped because I liked, if there's something we're going to do over again, if it's this spectrum of like different cores, but the fact that we've got multiple users being able to change the color of their ring and they're corrupt, like that's got me kind of like, ooh, this is kind of cool. And if we're going to have the Earth's Lanterns, so Joe, Hal, like all of them, Guy, all of them be the, essentially our sector having to go against cores that are the core that is basically being able to wield any spectrum of light.
Yeah.
That's got me super fucking stoked, like super excited. So that's what I liked about the book. I know that Hal and fuck, there's a character in the book that's going like, yo, dude, like you are a disgusting human being. Like he says, like your hero complex is completely disappointing. Like every time I read that, I was like, this is fucking Nate. Like this is Nate just pissed about. I knew you did.
I loved it.
Yeah. So anyway, I liked the issue. I thought it was fun.
So the issue itself, as a single issue, I think is good. I really enjoyed it. Of course, I loved Hal getting art and his character getting properly called out for his shit. I really liked the United Planets people coming and doing their own shifty shit. And I know you didn't read it because you're lame as fuck. But
I was gonna be like, did you ask me? Ask me if I read it.
Good. Not only is it cool that Ron Mars and Eaglesham came back to do a reprisal of their shit with Kyle Rayner, but of course Joe shows up too.
Right.
And I was just like, oh yes, give me this shit. But I will make a quick critique of this overall. Not this issue, but the run.
Yeah.
Glacial pace. We are moving.
Yeah, we're moving
So slow in the overall plot. To the point where I'm not excited when I see these issues. And then I read them, I'm like, oh, okay. And then by the time it's the next month and I see the issue again, I go, we're 8 issues in right now, and we have 2 issues of overall plot movement. I'm getting frustrated. And something needs to happen, because what I'm worried about is that we're gonna have all this build, and then the payoff is gonna be just like a fart.
It could happen. It could very well happen.
Oh, of course it could happen, and I would be very disappointed. But
no, I get that.
Overall, I enjoyed this shit.
No, I liked it. I think we're on the cusp of building something as like a Green Lantern event again, which I'm. As long as it's not Williamson, I'm here for it. Because
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I love how hard we're ripping this cover in chat. I love it.
No, this this cover sucks. I don't like how it looks.
And Joe, you're right. You're exactly right. It is Beach. He is the guy that did 10 Action Comics 1047 through 60. The last like 13 issues of Action Comics were all his. He also did the War World one, which was actually an amazing cover, surprisingly enough.
I'd say he doesn't. It looks like he doesn't have teeth on the top. Like when you don't have the front teeth, you're like, beep, beep, beep. Like that kind of.
I can't even do it.
I don't know. Kilowog is not back. He's dead.
If you look at the next issue, it doesn't look bad. It looks pretty good. It's just, I don't know. He needs to slow down a
little bit. All right, let's move over to our independents. We're kicking off the Boom Box. Zewa.
I don't have a lot more to say that I don't continually say about this because it just continues perfection. This is actually the best issue of the 4. On another day, this would have been my pick of the week.
But yeah, we know why it's not.
It just barely wasn't. I know. I mean, we all know it's deviant, and like, I had to sit there and go,
yeah.
Do I just give Zawa a bone because like it deserves it this week, and like it's not its fault that it went against it, but the reason why this issue is so good, and what I actually really like about this too, is we do like a really in-depth history overview like we do in Wind. You remember in Wind where just all of a sudden we pull back and look at the world as a whole? That's much more Michael than it is Tynan, apparently, by the way, which 100% it is Tynan. He made his correction again.
Tynan.
Which I'm sure he said a bunch, but it is Tynan.
That's like Tiny Onion.
Well, Tiny Onion I think is good too. Anyway.
Tiny Onion.
I was interested to see that in Wind was Michael than it was Tynan, so that's cool. We get one of those here, and we finally get to see who's right, because half of the people here have been saying Zawa is this great mystical creature who is supposed to be taking care of everybody, but it's chained up. And then
I read it. I read John's Super Chat, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
I'll read it again. Hey guys, I'm in Chicago visiting family, but I wanted to check in and leave a like. I'll be there next week. Take care. Yeah.
But we finally understand in this issue that like this is a generational struggle that humans have been continuing to. Zawa is the like basically personification manifestation of the mountain and the essence of nature around it, and humans keep actually killing it, like literally killing it. And finally, the reason why it stopped is because the mayor, the evil mayor, the dude that's like tiny that rides on that guy's shoulder and shit, he decides to decapitate it and keep the head alive so that another one won't regenerate.
Okay.
But of course, that's not what happens. The next one that regenerates is almost baby-like and doesn't have all the extreme anger and fierce desire for revenge that all the previous Zawas have had. And so it turns out both people are right. Zawa is this nasty evil creature that's trying to kill every human around because of hundreds and hundreds of years of literal oppression and death. But now we have this new Zawa who seems like she could be the Messiah Zawa and change everything. I mean, that's basically
that's a mouthful.
It is. And of course, this is a like very on the nose portrayal of how humans treat nature, and like how eventually it's going to come to bite us in the ass, and nature's going to just be like, you know what, you fucked me up so much that now we gonna fuck you up.
I'm gonna find
That's literally what's happening right now. So like, yeah, I get it. But you pair that with like the absolutely fantastical artwork that Down Ice does, it's just like, oh, it's so good, so atmospheric, so good.
Right.
I almost just talked myself into calling it.
I can push the button. Disciple asks, how is Nightwing supposed to continue without Taylor? In my opinion, that would have been the spot to... What? I got a notification. Just end at the run and start over. Like,
I completely agree with that.
I don't even want to start. I don't even want to think about that. Like,
aren't you happy that he's leaving? You've hated it for like 6 months now or more.
Would you stop? It just doesn't... The pirate thing doesn't make sense. And then we had a stupid Beast Boy meow meow. Like, I just... We're not talking about that right now. We're not
I'm just saying, for 8 issues now, you've hated it. That's
not for 8.
Right.
It's been like 4 max.
It was
4.
Two issues of Beast Boy, right? And then
there's been one issue of Beast Boy, and there's been
so one issue of Beast Boy and
3 pirates.
Okay. Go ahead. Like, you're good.
It's been 3 pirates. Okay.
Okay.
Whenever like we had some gangster guy with like, where's Heartless? We're not gonna get dude. He's not gonna finish Heartless.
It was 4 issues of Pirates.
That's what it. Okay, whatever.
So 5 issues. But there were gaps in there. So you've hated this book since.
I have not hated. Stop saying hated. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, and I guarantee you, people agree. There was a storyline that was happening here, and then suddenly went away. Like, what are we doing?
And it's been very sad. No, I agree. We can talk about that when the next.
Tell me about your pick of the week.
Okay. I also don't know that I can say too much. Like, it's all the same things. The dialogue is absolute perfection.
Right.
The way that this is literally like tied in, putting a lot of his assumed identity, except he also confirmed this post about it's like the most honest, real, scary thing he's ever put out. And you can definitely tell here. It very much feels like he's like bleeding on the pages at sometimes.
Jeez.
I will say that even though this issue is amazing, it's the first issue that didn't get 5 stars for me, and I will say it's the worst of the 5 issues. Now, it's of course amazing, but this issue was like blazing fast, super fast. Usually it takes me a solid 25 minutes to read these issues, and I probably did this one in 12 to 13.
Oh wow.
Now part of that is because in the previous issue we had a super character development issue, and in this one we get a plot line runner, and we get a lot of different things. One of the ongoing mysteries of all this is Michael, the main character, who is interviewing this killer, and he has an absolute fascination with serial killers. At the very beginning of the story, him and his boyfriend are at a rave, and he gets overwhelmed, and he asks his boyfriend, "Hey, let's go outside, like some fresh air." And he walks his boyfriend two blocks down the road, and points and says, "You see that empty lot right there? That is where that's where the apartments that Jeffrey Dahmer fucking killed and ate his people in." And his boyfriend's like, "Oh,
fun facts.
It's this close, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "And the current rave we were just in was already open and active when he was here. Like, he could have been dancing. He could have even like picked up someone that he didn't kill at that rave." And his boyfriend's like, "Yeah, you're kind of weird. Can we go dance again?" He's like, "Yeah."
Kind of weird.
Yeah. So we see Michael sort of creating a game plan with the supposed killer here about how their interviews and what they're gonna talk about and how intertwined their stories are. And like Michael's like, "Yeah, this is really about both of us." And like the killer is like, "Yeah, I want to interview you too." He's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be a 2-way thing." And in the meantime, Michael's boyfriend is essentially being interrogated by a detective in their apartment. And he's looking around. He's like, "Can I look in here?" And the boyfriend's like really like nervous. "I really don't I don't want you to do this stuff. Like, I need a lawyer. This is weird." And right as he gets a call, because the what's his name? I can't remember his name. But the detective from the first issue that got actually hacked in the face by the Santa killer but survived, he decides that this is some weird gay thing that Michael's trying to push an agenda, and assaults him outside jail. And so this undercover detective, or the detective gets a call right as he opens the door to this closet. And what's at the bottom of the closet? A bloody Santa Claus suit. And that's Michael's special closet that the boyfriend is never supposed to search, because that's where they hide the Christmas presents. Or that's where he hides his Christmas presents.
The Christmas presents.
So big confirmation. Not confirmation, but big like, uh-oh. This shit just went from speculative to much more.
Shit.
So good.
It's so good.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right, cool. That was. I mean, I'm shook. Did
Joe,
James
he literally-
Tinian start his own brand or something?
He launched his own production company. This is all what his Substack originally was. It's Tiny Onion, and it's literally he's not going to be a publisher, but he's going to be a like facilitator for comics. So like independent creators can go to him and say like, "Hey, this is my book. I've written it and drawn it, and it's this."
We need to get him to sponsor this.
Oh right, yeah, totally.
Why not?
I'm sure we could pay him the $20,000 it would cost, and he would do it. But like it's like a whole thing. Like they're also gonna have legal to help independent creators get contracts with like Netflix for the distribution rights of their comics, like to help sign things with Image or Boom or whoever. Yeah. All of his comics coming out starting, I think they said it'll be sometimes this year, are all Tiny Onion imprints across everything. So if it's like his Dark Horse books are going to have that on there, his Boom books are going to have it on there, his Image books are going to have it.
That's fucking awesome.
Pretty wild. Like he's even like, yeah, we're going to eventually expand. It's going to happen.
To what?
Film and television.
Okay.
And it's not just like he's like, yeah, we're going to do this and it succeeds. You know, I'm kind of good at writing comics. But like a venture capital firm has backed him up with a seven-figure investment.
God damn.
Like millions of dollars into this thing. It's not little. This is a big old thing.
Yeah, we gotta figure out how to get on that roll call. We gotta be sponsored by Tiny Onion.
Totally.
It's gonna happen. Right under that collected logo is gonna be a Tiny Onion logo. Boop, right there.
Boop. Beep boop.
Boop. Beep boop boop. Speaking of beep boops, we got Transformers issue number 5 from Daniel Warren Johnson.
That's
Whoa!
What? Whoa. I didn't see that. Oh, second time. Just do it again. Anyway,
2 loads. That's wow.
I mean, this was so much fun. This was just my childhood. It was so amazing. Artwork. Dude, like, I can't imagine how much fun he's having right now doing this. Yeah, dude. Like, Optimus was off the fucking chain in this issue. He was
I didn't realize he could be like that. I thought his whole thing was like, I'm a passive leader.
No, dude. Dude's fought some on the table. Yeah, dude's fought some wars. It was fucking awesome. Like, he was just blowing people to bits. The coolest part about this book, I loved seeing RC show up and her getting revived. I thought that was awesome. Seeing Starscream just being the little weasel that he is and getting his ass completely handed to him, but then coming back with the upper hand and having the, what is it called? The construct. They're called the Constructicons, but then
Devastator.
They form Devastator, and like, I was just so badass. They show up and he's just like, ha, bitches. Like, it was just, this issue had everything. If I had only one downside, it was, can we get a little, I want to know what's going on with Megatron. I really want to know, like, there was a little bit of a hint, right? Like Optimus was telling Starscream, like, you pussy. Like, you suck. Like, we saw you, like, when he aimed Megatron's cannon at him, he's like, you've seen this barrel before. Like, we know that you suck, you know? And so there was just like the slightest hint of the discord between Starscream and Megatron, which we all, you know, if you're a what up, Holden?
Hey.
If you're a Transformer fan, you know the ebbs and flows of that relationship. But if you're not, they hinted at it here, and I loved how it was hinted at it.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. This issue was just fucking awesome. Like, Transformers is so cool. And yeah, I'm gonna be sad when Daniel Warren Johnson jumps off the art, but he's still going to be writing it. So I think we're still going to get that same gravity of what he's writing and the epicness and the kind of Donny Cates of it all. And these just really cool decisions creatively, because the artist that's backing him up has a very similar art style. So like, I'm not,
yeah.
No, it's pretty close. Like, I'm happy about that, because I am going to be sad when he's gone, but I'm going to cherish the issues I have with him here because it was fucking fun. This issue was great. The coloring in this book, oh my God, it was amazing.
Yeah. Mike Spicer is one of the absolute best.
Just
beast. That won't change.
No.
Joe said the next issue will be sad because Daniel Warren Johnson won't be on art anymore. Do we know what work the new artist has done? So we have one more issue after this of Daniel Warren Johnson doing the art. Before we change over. Now Jorge Corona is the one that is taking. Jorge Corona's biggest work is creator-owned stuff that he's done pairing with Scotty. So Middle West is the big one. The Me You Love in the Dark we covered on the show before.
That's a great book.
He did the first 2 arcs of Batgirls that we covered on the show.
I like that.
He's done some other fill-in stuff. He did an arc on Batman with Tom King. He did. Try to look at the ones I don't know. He did a couple of Super Sons. Most of it's fill-in and independent work.
It looks good though. Like it.
Him and Scotty Young are like they're about to come out with a new book. Called Ain't No Grave, which I've already pre-ordered. And it'll be their 4th or 5th book together.
I think we're gonna be okay. I think we're gonna be okay. I remember those issues of Batgirl. I remember those issues of Batgirl that he was on, and I absolutely loved those issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, again, when I saw his name, I was like, that makes the sting hurt a little less.
Yeah.
No one, and I mean no one.
No, yeah, you're right.
Can replace Daniel Warren Johnson.
No.
His art style is too unique. But all right. Also, what was I gonna say?
I think it's very similar. Like it's not obviously to the T, but like his artwork is pretty damn similar. Like it's got the very like jagged raw lines. It's got heavy hand. Like I don't know. I think we're gonna be okay. Like I agree with you. The assessment is the sting is not gonna hurt as much. It's gonna be more of a pinch rather than a bug bite. Like it's or a bee sting, if you will. Like I remember we raved over the Batgirl artwork. We both loved it. I know there were some people that didn't like it at all, but I think it's gonna fit the tone of what we're doing.
We can't all be right.
You're right. I think it'll fit the tone of what we're trying to achieve in Transformers. Like I think it's gonna have the same grittiness and still feel like Transformers. I think he's gonna do a fine job. It's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. You read Joe's question because I'm trying to find an answer to it.
So says he did some WWE stuff for Boom as well. The Me You Loved in the Dark was sick. Yeah, it was. Like it was great. Joe, another question. How long do you feel the Energon connected universe will last? I feel it's building up to be a big crossover. Then it's done. I don't know. I don't feel like we've even really scratched the surface of the Energon stuff, and maybe that's because we haven't had a Void Rivals book in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to imagine, and I'm just saying, like, this is just the first thing that comes to mind. I have to imagine that the Energon stuff is awesome. But like the big investors, the big infusers of this project, outside of Kirkman and these other creators who want to just write stuff that they were involved with when they were kids, is Hasbro, right? And what does Hasbro do? What do they do incredibly well? What is the only thing they do? They sell fucking toys. And like you can't see it, but I have a wall over here that's literally covered in Transformer Super 7 action figures, the ones that have got like the really cool cardboard art, but they don't like, they're just very stiff action figures. I have a ton of those. Like, I can't wait to see Void Rivals and G.I. Joe Super 7 stuff come out because of what they're doing here. Like, the merchandise is coming. It's just a matter of time. And to see, I don't know, like, it's just, I don't know. I'm excited for it. And we know that Hasbro has a very heavy hand. They wouldn't have I don't think they would have let Kirkman do what they're doing with the franchises if they didn't have plans for them to expand outside of paper. You know what I mean? Like the game is merchandise. You know what I mean? So I think if there's I don't think it's going anywhere for a while, but I could be wrong. Could be totally wrong.
I feel like I saw somewhere that Kirkman said, like, in a dream world, he would like to get 50 issues out of Void Rivals. I thought it was in the back of the book of issue 1. It wasn't, so I could be making that up. But I feel like he was like, no. Void Rivals, I want to stay around.
No, I think Void Rivals has the potential. The Void Rivals has the potential to be the next Invincible, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't just continue to do this. I mean, I don't know. Something about having an end date set this far into the beginning actually kind of like makes me feel good, because it's like, hey, this is our vision and we're gonna do it, and not, that will save us from our puny Hickman crying. But I don't know. Let's see.
So you keep the Synergon going for years, sell the toys. Joe's aren't even established in the comics. Yeah, no, I think we've got some time here. You having issues? I think he is. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap up this episode of Two Fat Guys Pull Us. Thank you to everybody that watched live and everyone that's watching this is the best. Well, you can't
just wait. Goodness gracious.
You're having problems.
I know, but I still want to talk about 2 books really quick.
Okay, go.
I read them and they were good. I want to share them. Blue Book, 1947, #1. If you remember Blue Book, it's the
I do.
book that Tynan did that's like about conspiracy theories and UFOs and all that stuff. This is the second series. This is about a pilot in Washington that saw a UFO. This is where the term flying saucer originally came from. I don't know what it was about the first issue of the previous series that didn't hit with me, but this punched me.
Just kind of slow.
This was so good.
Yeah. And
there was a backup story of a Canadian folklore tale. There was like a very specific area that was told by Zach Thompson. That was excellent.
Okay.
It's Tynan. I had to read.
Tynan.
I picked this up too. If you find this, I'm already dead. This is a new Dark Horse book by Matt Kint. Kent. I don't know how you say his name. He did a lot of the work with he's done a million stuff. What we were most familiar with was his Bad Idea stuff, but he was well known. This is part of his new imprint, Flux House. They are copying the Distillery stuff where they are doing large magazine format for $8. My biggest complaint about this issue is that it was $8 and it's half the pages of a Distillery book. Ugh, you're gonna have to do better on that. What I did love was everything else. The art was really good. It was on pulpy paper, similar to the Enfield Gang Massacre, like really gritty paper, and it totally worked. The story is like a really fun, futuristic settlement story. Like the U.S. military discovers a wormhole and decides they're going to go through it, and then they find a planet, and they're like, "Hey, we need to establish a military base here." And the whole world's like, "Hey, maybe that's not a smart idea." And the military's just like, "Fuck you."
Of course, yeah, typical.
And finally, they send in a journalist. That is who is on the front here. A journalist in so that the American people can see what's going on, and of course, like she's literally in the plane about to set down on their little security. She's like, "I don't know, I have a good feeling about this." And then the next panel is 5 minutes later, and dudes are fucking, their guts are all spilled out, and like she has blood sprayed all on her face, and like, it's very chaotic. It's very interesting. I don't know. It was good. And usually Matt's work has like this odd, dark, unique, awkward sort of feel to it that you just kind of is like strange. It's almost like he's being indie on purpose. And this book didn't have that at all. Like it didn't have that at all. This felt very like edited well, clean, good. And so look forward to this issue. Or next issue, because I'll definitely cover it.
Did you read The Displaced by Ed on Boom?
I didn't get to that.
I read it this evening before the show. Pretty cool. Cool concept. Yeah. Not sure if I'll do issue 2, but shout out to Patty in Canada. You know, big ups.
Oh yeah, he's a Canadian.
He's up there, eh?
Ed
anyway,
Breslin.
Ed Breslin, yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's live episode of Two Fat Guys Pull List, issue 164. Make sure to let us know. No, wait, what? I'm talking about another video. Thanks for watching. If you watched live, if you didn't watch live, thanks for watching as a past episode. We'll catch you guys this Tuesday, where we'll talk about a massive week of comics. Beefy haul coming up in hot, finally. 2024 had to have one, and we're about to have one next Wednesday. So be on the lookout for our new comic book day video, which is going to drop on Tuesday, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, which we got a ton of books. It's going to be great. As always, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. It'd be much appreciated, as we're on the road to 1,250 subscribers, but we can't do it without your support. We'll see you guys next week. As always, fam, be kind to one another, and read more comics. Catch you guys later. Bye. Shout out to all our members, including our new one, Joe. Joe, John, and Holden. Holding down the fort. See you guys later.